Hey, what's up guys? If you think 2026 is going to be slow, wait until you see what's dropping in January. We're talking massive remakes, free-to-play shooters, and some indie titles that are absolutely insane. Stick around because we're counting down the top 20 games you absolutely cannot miss this month. Let me know in the comments which one you're most excited for, and let's jump into the video. The long-awaited sequel to one of the most stylish anime Souls-like is finally here. Code Vein 2 takes everything that made the original great and cranks it up to 11. You're playing as a revenant hunter travelling through time with a girl named Lou to prevent the world's destruction. The combat system builds on the original blood drain mechanics but adds new partner systems and deeper customization. You can drain blood from enemies to unlock various skills, and there's apparently a new build system that lets you freely customize weapons and ability to suit your playstyle. The story spans both present and past timelines, letting you alter character fates and uncover lost histories. And yes, you've got those over-the-top anime cutscenes and character designs that made the first game so memorable. Here's the thing, this is priced at $69.99 for the standard edition, with deluxe $89.99 and ultimate for $99.99, with the editions offering early access and bonus content. It's definitely a premium release. But if you're into anime Souls-like or you just love the first game, this is probably going to be your January gaming priority. This game has been delayed more times than we can count. Prince of Persia, the Sands of Time remake is finally coming January the 16th, and I don't say finally lightly. This game was supposed to come out in 2021, then 2022, then 23, then 24, and now Ubisoft has registered a new website, confirmed the date multiple times, and the internet is buzzing. This isn't some lazy remaster, this is a full ground up remake of one of the most beloved action RPG games ever made. You're the prince, manipulating time itself, doing parkour through impossible palaces and fighting the viscera. The parkour is modernised, the combat is enhanced, and Ubisoft had years to get this right. January the 16th, the Sands of Time remake is coming, and we're calling it. This is the number one because this is the release of January 2026. If this doesn't ship on January the 16th, well, let's just say the internet is going to have a field day. Alright horror fans, this one's for you. Pathologic 3 is the latest entry in one of the most psychologically intense series in gaming. You're Dr. Danny Dankovsky, and you've got 12 days to save a town from a mysterious plague. But here's the twist. You failed before, and now you're going back to fix your mistakes. The real hook here is the time manipulation mechanic. You can rewind time, make different decisions, and try to save everyone. But every choice has consequences, and your mental state directly affects how you interpret events. Fall into a path for your mania, and you might discover new insights, or die trying. The game forces you to make brutal decisions, enforce quarantines, confiscate medicine, vaccinate populations, suppress riots. You have power, but people might hate you for using it. It's psychological horror at its finest, where the real monster might be the choices you're forced to make. There's a demo available on Steam right now if you want to try it before you buy, but fair warning, this is not casual gaming. Next up, we've got something completely different. Quarantine Zone, the last check is hitting Steam on January the 12th, and honestly, this one flew under everyone's radar, but it shouldn't have. This is a simulation game where you're running a literal government quarantine checkpoint during a zombie apocalypse. You're checking survivors coming in, deciding if they're infected, and making life or death calls. Do you quarantine them? Do you trust them? Or do you just, well, let's just say there are darker options available. It's like Papers, Please but with zombies and way more existential dread. The game has gold. It's coming out on PC, and early reviews are saying this is going to be one of the indie sleeper hits of 2022. If you want something that unique that makes you think and makes you feel bad about the choices you're making, this is it. We have StarRupture, and this one's for all you factory building maniacs out there. From the developers of Green Hell comes this open world survival game where you're exploring a mysterious planet that's constantly being torn apart by catalysms. The hook here is the industrial system. You're not just building a base, you're creating complex factories that extract resources, produce goods, and help you survive against hordes of alien monsters. Think Satisfactory meets survival horror with up to 4-player co-op support. The planet itself is the real star. It's constantly changing, with extreme temperatures and aggressive alien creatures that will test your base defences. You can explore, mine, process resources, and unlock new technologies to survive the harsh conditions. The catch? It's early access, so expect some rough edges, but Creepy Jar have a solid track record with Green Hell, and they're planning about a year in early access before full release. If you're into base building with a survival twist, this could be your January jam. PlayStation fans, this is the one you've been waiting for. Code Violet is essentially the spiritual successor to Dino Crisis that we've all been craving. Built in Unreal Engine 5, this is a PS5 exclusive that drops you into the 25th century where humanity survivors are dealing with some serious dinosaur problems. You play as Violet Sinclair, who gets abducted through time travel tech to be a surrogate for a colony that's facing extinction. But surprise surprise, the facility is now crawling with prehistoric predators. The game mixes survival horror with action, featuring strategic inventory management, environmental puzzles, and some seriously impressive visuals thanks to Unreal Engine 5's capabilities. The PS5 Pacific features sounds pretty cool too. 3D audio that makes every roar and rustle feel real, adapted triggers for weapon feedback, and haptic feedback that will apparently make combat feel visceral. But here's the controversial part. The developer has openly said they're not bringing this to PC because they don't want modders creating vulgar versions of the main character. Make of that what you will. This was the final reveal at Games Award 2025 and people are still talking about it. HIGHGUARD is a free-to-play PvP raid shooter from the creators of Apex Legends and Titanfall. I'm going to repeat that because you might have missed it. The same people who made two of the best multiplayer games of the last decade just dropped their new baby, and it's launching January the 26th on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS and PC. It's a Wardens, think arcane gunslingers, and you're fighting for control of this mystical continent. Crossplay, cross progression, and it's completely free. If you were disappointed about how other big shooters launch, this game knows what they're doing. Make sure you mark your calendars. This is one of those games that sounds absolutely bonkers on paper but could be absolutely incredible. Cairn is a realistic climbing simulation from the creators of Furrow and Haven. You're playing as Ava, a professional climber trying to reach the summit of Mount Kami, a peak that's never been climbed before. What makes this special is the climbing simulation itself. This isn't just another press X to climb. You're finding handholds, managing your precision and balance, and planning routes from the ground up, and solving climbing problems in real time. It's apparently so realistic that people who played it say it generally catches the feeling of real rock climbing. You've also got survival elements, managing chalk, finger tape, food, water and medicine. Explore the mountain for resources and make your way to the summit. The game promises 15 plus hours of content, and you can adjust the difficulty if you want a more casual experience. If you're looking for something completely unique that you've never played before, Cairn might be your January obsession. Next up, we're going dark, literally and figuratively. Vampire's BLOODLORD Rising is entering early access on January the 30th. You're playing as a newly turned vampire who needs to build a castle, manage a vampire clan, and expand your power across the world of Sangavia. This is an open world action RPG with co-op multiplayer, and it's got that Blood of Dawnwalker meets V-Rising energy. Character development, base building, clan management, and you're doing all this while hunting and raiding across 3 different biomes. Early access means this isn't the final version, but for vampire fans who are starving for something like this is basically manna from heaven. It releases January the 30th on PC. Ratatouille meets Escape from Tarkov, but with zombies. That's basically what Midnight Walkers is offering. This is hardcore first person distraction shooter where you're fighting zombies, other players, and the environment itself to extract valuable loot. The twist here is the setting. You're in a massive complex that's been overrun by the infected, and you've got to scavenge for gear, craft weapons, and make your way to extraction points. It's PvPvE, meaning you're dealing with both AI controlled zombies and other players who want your stuff. The game promises high stakes gameplay where every run could result in losing all your gear if you die. You've got solo and trio modes, crafting systems, and what looks like pretty intense combat scenarios. If you're into the whole extraction shooter genre but you want something with a horror twist, this could be worth watching. Just remember, this is hardcore FPS gameplay, so if you're more of a casual player, maybe wait for some reviews first. And this next one is trippy. I Hate This Place launches January the 29th on PS5, Xbox Series XS, PC and Nintendo Switch. It's a crafting based survival horror with isometric perspective, but calling it that doesn't capture what makes it actually disturbing. You're trapped in this surreal nightmare where nothing makes sense. You're crafting weapons, surviving creatures, but the environment itself is hostile and wrong. The developers initially planned it for November 2025 but delayed it, and honestly, the delay worked in the game's favour. Reviews coming in are calling this one of the darkest, most unsettling indie horrors to come out in years. If you want something that's gonna mess with your head more than jump scare you, this is your game, and it releases January the 29th. This one's huge, literally. Arknights Endfield has already amassed over 30 million pre-registrations, which is absolutely bonkers for a new IP. This is a 3D action RPG that's completely free to play, set in the Arknights universe but designed as a standalone experience. You're exploring the planet Talos 2, meeting new characters and engaging in real-time combat that blends action with strategy. The mobile gaming crowd is probably already familiar with this, but console players should definitely take notice. The game features base building, deep sci-fi lore, and what looks like pretty solid production values for a free-to-play title. If you're into anime-style action RPGs or just curious about the Arknights universe, this might be worth checking out when it drops on January the 22nd. Next up, we've got something incredibly timely. BROKENLORE UNFOLLOW is a first-person psychological horror game launching January the 16th on PC, PS5 and Xbox Series XS. And this is the third game in the BROKENLORE horror series. Here's what makes this one different. It's specifically about social media, online bullying and mental health. You're playing as Anne, who's trapped in a surreal nightmare, fighting terrifying monsters as you uncover a dark mystery about cyberbullying and its consequences. This isn't a game that's trying to be edgy for edginess sake. It's making an actual statement about toxicity online, about feeling trapped by your own online presence. State of Play confirmed it officially, and this is definitely one of the most ambitious indie horror titles hitting in January, and this one releases January the 16th. Ratatouille meets Metrovania in space. That's basically what Mio Memories in Orbit is. You play as an android named Mio drifting through a massive spaceship called the Vessel, which is basically a technological ark that's gone completely haywire. The art style here is absolutely gorgeous, inspired by comics, paintings and anime. You're exploring interconnected environments, facing over 30 enemy types and 15 boss encounters, and unlocking abilities like grappling hooks and wall clinging. The story revolves around reviving the ship's lost memories while uncovering your own past. There's a demo already available if you want to test it out, and the full release drops on January the 20th for pretty much every platform under the sun. If you're into games like Hollow Knight, but you want something more artistic, almost storybook visual style, this could be your jam. This one's a huge deal for fighting game fans. 2XKO, Riot's fighting game, formerly Project L, is officially leaving early access and launching fully on January the 20th on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS and PC. And guess what? It's completely free to play. This is the fighting game that's been in development for years, and Riot is finally ready to show the world what they've been creating. It's a 2v2 fighting game with characters from League of Legends, and the competitive scene is already getting set up with tournaments starting in January 2026. The combo system is insane, the visuals are clean, and this has the backing of Riot's entire competitive infrastructure. If you play fighting games or you're just curious about them, Riot just lowered the barrier to entry to basically zero, free, beautiful and competitive, and it's launching January the 20th. This is the comeback story of the year, folks. Hytale, it was cancelled in June 2025, but the original founders brought it back and are launching it in early access just months later. That's some serious dedication right there. Here's the deal, Hytale is essentially what happened when you take Minecraft's creative freedom and crank it up to 11. You've got procedurally generated worlds, handcrafted zones, and most importantly, extensive modern tools that let you create basically anything you want. The early access focuses on polished core systems, exploration, combat and building, and creator tools. This is aimed squarely at modders, server owners, and content creators. The team rehired 40 plus developers and resurrected a 4-year-old build, which is honestly pretty wild. But here's the thing, this is true early access. We're talking potentially buggy, unfinished content that might take years to fully realise. But if you've been waiting for this since the 2018 trailer and you want to be part of the journey from day one, January the 13th, here's your moment. And this one's massive for Nintendo Switch 2 and Xbox players. Final Fantasy VII Remake INTERGRADE is launching on January the 22nd on Nintendo Switch 2, Xbox Series XS and Xbox on PC. This is the award-winning remake that PlayStation players have been enjoying for years and now the entire world gets to experience Midgard's story. If you've never played this, Cloud, Barrett, Tifa and Aerith are on a mission against this evil mega corporation called Shinra. The remake expands on the original story in ways that even long-term fans weren't expecting. It's not a one-to-one remake, it's respectful to the original while doing its own thing. This is actually one of the best RPGs of the previous generation, and it's now available on your preferred platform, January the 22nd. The 7 Deadly Sins Origin is shaping up to be January's answer to Genshin Impact. This is a free-to-play open world RPG based on the popular anime, and it's launching across pretty much every platform simultaneously. You play as Prince Tristan of Lyoness, yeah, that Tristan from the lore, exploring a massive open world Britannia with seamless co-op for up to 5 players. The game features fishing, cooking, exploration and all the usual open world activities you'll expect. The anime visual style looks solid, and if you're into the whole anime RPG scene, this seems like it could be a solid addition. Just remember it's got gacha mechanics baked in, so if you're prone to spending money, maybe set some boundaries before you dive in. This next one is for the JRPG heads. The League of Heroes Trails Beyond the Horizon is launching January the 15th on Nintendo Switch, Switch 2, PS4, PS5 and PC. This is the continuation of the Calvard arc in the massive League of Heroes universe, and if you've been following this series, this one is huge. We're talking about one of the most ambitious JRPG franchises of all time. The Trails systems have been building this interconnected story across multiple games and decades of story. Trails Beyond the Horizon is the next major chapter, and NIS America is bringing it to the West with an official English localization. If you're into deep stories, character-driven narratives, and turn-based RPG combat that rewards strategy, the League of Heroes series is basically unmatched. This is the entry point to the next arc, and it's coming out January the 15th. And this one's been in early access, but now it's getting huge. No Rest for the Wicked is getting its massive Together co-op update on January the 22nd. Moon Studios, yeah, the team behind Ori, created this Souls-like action RPG that's been in early access since April 2024. But this update, this is changing everything. You're a holy warrior investigating a plague called the Pestilence on this island called Isla Saka. The game already had phenomenal single player combat, but now you can bring your friends. The Together update brings full cooperative play, new weapons, new content, and this is when it's launching on full on all platforms, PC, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS. If you've been waiting for No Rest for the Wicked to feel complete, well, it's ready, and it's coming out January the 22nd. Alright, there you have it, 20 games that are gonna absolutely dominate January 2026. There's something for literally everyone here. Remakes, free-to-play shooters, indie horror, JRPGs, Souls-like, you name it. Which one are you most excited for? Drop it in the comments below because I actually want to know. If you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe button because we do this every single month for upcoming releases. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.